Tree Board for Thursday, January 23rd, 2025. Please stand for a pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oath of office.
All right. Lisa, if you can stand and raise your right hand, please. I, Lisa Cheesebro, do solemnly swear that I possess all the qualifications of the office of Park Board member as prescribed by law, that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Missouri, the provisions of all laws of this state affecting cities of this class, and the ordinances of the city of Kearney, Missouri, and faithfully demean myself in office, so help me God.
I do.
If you would sign one is for you and one is for the city records.
Okay.
Take that. Welcome back on the board, being reappointed.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you,
appreciate
Lisa.
you taking time out of your life to be on our park board. Appreciate it
enjoy
very
it.
much.
Eric, have you taken roll?
I have, everyone is present except Ally, and we do have a quorum.
Has everyone had a chance to, we need to approve the agenda.
Yep.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting?
I approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Agenda is approved. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes from the November 19th meeting? And do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Jennifer, did you second that?
Second, yes.
Park updates.
Just want to let you know, we're pretty much caught up on all of our park maintenance. So the only thing that I will tell you that Ryan and I have been monitoring, it gets monitored every day, even in the wintertime and on the weekends, is our bathroom out at the pickleball and skate park complex. Last year, as you know, when we had that big spell, we had a water break, and it was supposed to be an all-weather bathroom. Ryan and I and Ray put our heads together, and naturally we got it fixed and shut the water off. And then in the springtime, we fixed those lines, and we put a new heater in. Ryan, do you remember what type that was? It just wasn't like what we have in our other bathrooms. It's something it's even better, but seems to be doing well.
Yeah, it's a little more efficient electric.
And
Hooked up to a thermocube.
yeah,
It made it through the
Yep,
old
it
snow.
has.
Just
Yeah.
fine.
And this last weekend, and Ryan and I take turns on weekends, and last weekend was his weekend, and went out there, and the chase room was still warm, and the pipes were good, and weekend before, I know it was, when it was mine, I went out there, and I mean, it was cold, and the bathrooms are still warm, and you would be surprised at how many people use that bathroom, even in the winter. I mean, I know you run a lot in the wintertime, and a lot of people walk that trail in the wintertime, and gets used a lot. So I know that people appreciate that the bathrooms are still open there. So
We've gotten some nice comments on them
Yeah.
too.
My husband actually told me to thank you guys for keeping this going. He said it was almost like bath water coming out of the faucet.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Nice
Good.
and warm. Yeah.
It's a lot more comfortable than the outhouse on the other side.
Yeah.
Do we do any kind of snow removal on that trail?
we do not.
No.
I think the school does the front.
They
And
do
then-
that front
and then that's it.
along 19th Street.
Yeah.
But other than that, we don't. And the reason why is our insurance carrier in the past said if you scrape it and someone slips, we're liable.
Yep.
And
That's a lot of trail to
It is.
be 100% sure on, you know?
and we don't have
Yeah.
a blade like that. All of our blades are way bigger. I mean, we'd be tearing up grass all the time on the trail and everything of that nature. So we heed their advice and walk at their own risk and things of that nature. But so that's
So what
why
kind of shape is it in today? Have you been out there?
Yeah, it's gonna be patchy.
So there's still some of it that's covered.
Yeah, anything that's shaded, and a lot of that trail is shaded by trees and it doesn't get sun, so
Yeah.
it doesn't melt. So,
Right.
yeah.
Some of the lower parts are gonna take a little bit.
Yeah.
Tree City USA recertification.
Yeah, every year by the end of the calendar year, December 31st, we have to send in if we want to continue to be a tree city, and that's one of the things that our former mayor and Mayor Pogue now want us to continue to do. So we keep pretty detailed records throughout the year when we trim trees, cut trees down, storm damage, anything that involves trees, and our equipment, we can deduct that, how many hours per hour and different things, and volunteer hours and things of that nature. So if we plant trees, and I know the city had it was a storm, the culvert replacement or the storm, and they replaced a bunch of trees there. We could piggyback on that because it was a city function, and so we got the amount of the trees. So we were way over, but we're just waiting for the recertification to come through. When we do that, one thing this year, whenever we decide we're having Arbor Day, I'm not gonna pick it this year because the last 3 years that we've done it, it's always rained or been cold or something of that nature. So you guys are gonna pick a date and we'll make sure that we come out and plant a tree, and maybe we'll have better luck on getting that planted when it's early in the year.
The day we planted our tree was great.
Yeah.
In the dog park,
Yes,
but, yeah,
that was in November or
Yeah.
October,
I was
You know.
October,
so.
and I hit my head on the bucket.
Yes. So that's all I have on Tree City recertification, but I sent in them a stack of, we have to scan everything in. I'll bet it's about that thick of the details that we have to keep. It is what it is, and I think we're like 12 straight years now. We did it a few years and then skipped, but I think we're on year 12 straight now. So anyway.
All right, budget highlights.
The budget has not yet been formally presented in depth. The Board of Aldermen got an overview on Tuesday night, but on February 3rd, the budget in depth will be presented. But Ryan and I wanted to tell you some of our highlights that if it does get approved, what it will be, and I'm not going into maintenance and equipment and things of that nature. I'm just going to talk about our capital outlay and use tax items that we requested. All of those made it into the budget, so if it does get approved, everything that we requested on that aspect did get in. And why Ryan's sitting here, I owe him a debt of gratitude. There were days that we were scratching our head because it's tedious when things were tight, and this budget is very tight, but we'll make it, and we're proud of these items that we really got in. I know we talked it was in November, about the web climber at Jesse James Park. That got in. That item itself is $52,000. And, it sounds like a lot of money, and it is, but consider the fact we have not had to do anything with that web climber since 2007, when that was installed. When we dedicated that park out there on July 3rd or 4th, whatever it was. So we're getting a new web climber. Another thing that we are getting that will be going out in that park area is a new merry-go-round. It's actually called a T-spin merry-go-round. It sits a little lower, so we won't have near the mulch drag around. So that's a $10,500 piece of equipment. At the skate park, we are putting in 2 new corner pieces, 2 new ramps, and they will go in the corner. And those 2 features with install are $48,000. The next highest item that we have, and we're thrilled about this, is a new John Deere 997 mower. That's a $25,000 piece of equipment. And that will replace our oldest mower. We'll still keep it, but we'll use that older mower like when we mow the South Campus trails, or we'll keep it over at Mac Porter Park or something of that nature. Wasn't that like 2008,
Yeah.
7, 8?
2008.
So how many hours, that mower's been through a lot, and we're pretty proud that we were able to keep that mower that long and we can still use it. It's just things are starting to happen with it, but
Can you
use
still
that
get
mower
parts?
for a lot of years.
Can you still get parts for it though?
We
Yes.
can.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
That's the one nice thing about John Deere, and to a certain extent Grasshopper. While they've changed their design, it hasn't been significant enough. You can honestly make the newer parts work on the older stuff
Okay.
too, if you have
Good.
to. There's a lot of like new old stock still around for it, so I think we're pretty comfortable with it.
Good.
And the belts are the same. That's the
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
That's the biggest
belts
wear
are
item.
all the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
And so that's a good thing. Next thing, kind of like what we did last year, we're finally starting to get our soccer goals and get rid of our handmade soccer goals. So we will have another set of soccer goals coming at $15,000. We will be doing movies in the park again this year. And when I was down at the national conference, there's a setup that we're gonna get, and it's got sound system and this blow-up screen and the projector and everything of that nature. And that's a $9,000 thing that we'll be able to use for many years. When we started talking about doing movies in the park, because of one of the things were from the Board of Aldermen's priorities are more activities in the park and different things of that nature. And I had Ryan look it up because the Enrichment Council, when we quit doing it, Enrichment Council took it over and started doing it down here at Lions Park, and they were renting the equipment. And Ryan found out how much it was, and it's like $3,100 per night.
Wow.
$3,100. Wow. So I said, well, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It breaks down
In 2 years.
in 2 years,
we
it's
spent
done.
more than-
So,
So are we gonna do those movies at Lions or
yeah,
at the amphitheater?
yeah, we're gonna call it Flicks and Food Trucks, and have some food trucks and show movies, and so. Anyway, the next thing is we are upgrading our chlorination system at Lions Park to keep in compliance with DNR with the water that gets released down in the creek. And we had a system that worked okay. It's
Horribly inefficient.
yeah.
It was a system we came up with. I can speak on this a little
Yeah,
bit.
go ahead.
Is a system we came up with to, minimum viable product type thing. What we found after 1 year of use is we go through those dechlorination tabs like crazy with our current setup. What we're getting is like a feeder system, basically go from the top down, it'll dissolve a pellet, the next one will just fall into place. And it'll have 4 tubes like that.
And the water goes over.
Yeah, and
those.
it's reasonably priced. It's I think all in, we're probably gonna be about $2,500. We have to build a containment around it because it's made of really high-density plastic, but it's still plastic and therefore it can be broken. So we're gonna build a little, we'll call it a pump house around it, just like a short one, so we can control access to it. But, yeah.
And then the riprap will go in.
Right. and
Go
then
ahead.
Then we're going to riprap along that drainage stream into Bear Creek, also all the way down Bear Creek as it passes through Lionsburg. So
Away,
gonna look
in
real
addition to
nice.
the chlorination tabs, the water's getting more air in the sun, and we're gonna be well in compliance and everything. This way, we don't have to worry about it, because right now, we don't have to have a permit. If something happens, we have to get a permit, then they come out and do the checking, and you pay for them to come out and do the checking, and then if you're not compliant, and
it's much
we
more
just-
preferable than not have to have a wastewater discharge permit.
Right, so anyway, so that's gonna happen, and then, this may sound funny, but, we're getting 3 new special fit bathroom doors on the, fields 1, 2, and 3 bathroom. They have to be specially made because everything is in the concrete and the actual, hinges are, and everything is molded into the concrete. So we have to special order those and get them installed, and it's $5,115, but that building's been there since 2003.
And this is at the ballpark.
Yeah, at the
Yeah,
ballpark,
okay.
yeah, at McPorter Park. So,
I was thinking of soccer fields and I couldn't think where those were.
so anyway, that's where we're at, on our capital, outlay and use tax money that we will be getting if the budget is passed, at the end of February. So I know the budget will be presented February 3rd, and that'll be live, and it'll be an in-depth one, so if you want to YouTube it and skip whatever and go to the park one, it'll be a very in-depth, detailed of our park expenditures and revenues and things of that nature, so.
How did you make the decisions on the skate park ramps? Are you receiving feedback from those that are using it, or are we just monitoring that and have a game plan?
We've had, it was about 2 years ago, I think, we applied for a grant because people were saying, when we built the complex, we really condensed that area of the skate park. Well, yes, we did, but it was a reason why, and we talked with the American skate ramp company where we got our equipment, and when we first put it out there, he was like, you guys have way too much. Well, that was in the old pickleball complex before we even did the renewal of it. And he said, they don't have enough speed, it needs to be way condensed. So when we did this and we showed them our area, they actually did the design in the new area for us. We caught flack for it, but we explained to them, we had the professional company design this in this area that would maximize and be the best for it. They said you can't add some corner pieces, and the thing about it is if we'd ever want to move any of this around, we still can because it's movable. It's not really preferred unless we move it to a whole different location, but they'll be excited to see 2 new pieces out there in opposite corners or whatever. I guarantee you that they'll like it. So we're excited about that. And we think that the people that uses the skate ramps and everything like that, we think they'll like it too.
Good.
So, and it comes from the same company. Everything will match.
And all that equipment's held up pretty well.
Pardon me?
yeah.
It's all held up pretty well.
Really well. And knock on wood, we haven't had vandalism because people know that there's cameras out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, third quarter metrics.
Sure. I'm gonna let, because Ryan is going to be this month, or this quarter, I'm turning it over to him to do our all-employee meeting, so I'm just gonna let him talk about our third quarter metrics.
Okay, we're gonna run through these quick, because I don't think anyone told the Lions Club that we have a meeting tonight.
Oh, well.
So we still have 3 full-time employees, 1 part-time, 1,000 hours, it's the same we've done. 3 seasonal staff, 1,000 hours divided. So we didn't actually end up using that full 1,000 hours, so we're gonna be able to bring some of them back at the start of the spring, which will be nice, because that's a really hectic time for us. Only used 11 overtime hours in the third quarter. 65 hours mowing, weed eating. Of course, that slowed down significantly in the third quarter. 250 trash bags, 6 trees removed and trimmed, 3 in-depth inspections at the playground. Knock on wood, 0 vandalism incidents. So that's 2 quarters in a row.
If I may just interject, third quarter starts in what, September, October, or August, September, and October, whatever it is.
October, November, December.
The thing of it is we had Oktoberfest, and there was about 100 and some there, so after Oktoberfest, it really slowed down, because everybody's in school and it's getting cold and things of that nature, so. Go ahead, Ryan, sorry.
Our budget to actual is 73%, getting a little more in line with how we spend money with the Parks Department. Generally, we spend most of our money between April and September. And the rest and we'll spend the majority of our money then. And so Eric always freaks out when he gets the reports. It'll say, oh, the budget to actual, we are 50% of the way through the year, but we've used 70% of our budget. It's like, well, we don't spend anywhere near as much money in the wintertime. So it's been an adjustment since they started reporting that, but we are right where we need to be budget-wise. As far as participants go in sports, we had 141 flag football, 47 volleyball, 186 soccer, 564 pickleball, and that number looks weird. It's because the previous quarter ended when we still had summer session going. So we had summer and fall session for that. 25 senior trip, 118 basketball. Not a lot of shelter reservations, as you can see. The Oktoberfest at 565 people, 2,200 people at the Christmas parade. So pretty fun stuff to keep track of. Using that Placer AI to get those numbers for participants and everything.
Is that a normal number for Oktoberfest?
No, it's down significantly.
Seems like it.
Yep.
I think the Christmas party was down too.
I don't know. It depends on how you measure it, because the boundaries change every year a little bit. And because of that, like the true number is 565 for Oktoberfest. But if you use the previous boundary, which included, all of the street out here, you're going to get a much different number, because that still is on a Saturday and there's people shopping, eating, all that stuff. So you really, when people report those numbers, they have to be cognizant of the boundary they're using.
One thing on the Christmas parade, we did something a little different this year. We handed out hot dogs. We ran out of hot dogs right at this
Right in front of
point.
City Hall.
And we cooked 500 of them. It was crazy.
It was awesome.
Hot dogs, man, everybody was going
Yeah.
out for hot. We could have went 1,000 of them, and we would have made it down. And I'm gonna tell Marion, give us 5 minutes and they can be right here.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
All right, youth sports.
So we are still, I'm gonna call it youth sport, because we offer one sport in the winter, basketball. We started our basketball games last weekend. We were supposed to start them 2 weekends ago, but with the school cancellations and everything, the kids would have had 1 day of practice, and I wasn't gonna roll them out there with 1 practice since before Christmas. So we pushed it back a week. We had our first games last week. They went wonderfully. Actually had a chance to train a new person on how we do games and how we administer the games and everything, because my normal gal, Lindsay, was out of state. So got to train a new person, so I have a backup now on that, so very excited. All right, spring sports signups started right at the first of the year. At all of our youth sports, so we're gonna have baseball, t-ball, softball, soccer, and then in February, we'll have signups for Adult Pickleball League, which will fill up real fast. But it'll probably be by the end of February. We're trying to work some stuff out, but yeah, you guys should play. I saw that.
I need to learn first.
So, yeah, we're fully expecting another at least 250 to 300 people in that league, depending on, we're trying to figure out exactly how many divisions we're gonna offer as far as looking back on the metrics from last year. Since we had a full year, the year we opened it, we didn't have the spring session. So now that we have that information, we can make a little more informed decision. So, is there a question?
I had a question. We always ask, how's the No Kid Left Behind account going? Is it still
Oh, the scholarship fund?
scholarship fund? Sorry.
It's going great. We have, I believe, somewhere in the neighborhood of $5,000 in there. That might not be an accurate number.
But we have enough for spring.
We have enough to
enrollment,
make
so
it
that's
through, probably through the whole year.
That's good.
So,
Yeah,
That's
isn't that
awesome.
wonderful?
It is.
we've had
good.
some really generous
It's
people.
sad for a kid not
help us out
to
with
be able
that.
to participate due to financial struggle.
Yeah, well, that's why we started it, you know, we
Definitely.
don't want to see that. We want kids to have an opportunity, if they want to come out and participate, so.
I'm sure that's driven up the participation as well, some of those
Some,
numbers and
yeah,
stuff.
some.
That's good.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, if
We
kids
like
want
it.
to play, let them, kids need to play. Instead of sitting at home and doing this.
Yeah. All right, board comments.
One thing, I talked to Eric and Tuesday night when we had our Board of Aldermen meeting. We had a presentation by the botany class. It's actually a class, the teacher was here and then several of the students. And we knew it was gonna happen, because Eric had told us about it. But they actually made a presentation Tuesday night, and I was blown away at what these young people did for a class project. They did basically an educational walk out at Jesse James Park. And created a website, QR codes. I mean, they actually had us take our phones out and scan the QR code, and it brings up this complete website. And so it's designed to be able to expand. They're wanting, hopefully this gets put into place. There'll be QR codes throughout the park that you can scan, and talks about a different feature at the park. And so after the meeting, a lot of it obviously was dealt with our parks and trees. So talked to Eric afterward, and I don't know if you had a chance to get
I wanted you to say something tonight first, and then
Okay.
I'll reach back out to Caitlin.
It's something that I thought this board would really love to see, the presentation. These kids, these are high school kids. There were 6 of them, 7?
6, I think.
Yeah. You know, and a lot of kids are very bashful talking to people, you know, especially when you're standing in front of a board or a city council. But these kids, they nailed it. And it was just, I was honestly dumbfounded. I have the QR code at home, and I actually took it home and showed my wife. I was so excited about what they had done, and,
The teacher sat in the back,
yep,
did not participate. She introduced the kids and then she sat down.
And the kids
it was
took it.
Kids only.
and it just amazed me that these high school kids could, and they created the website, the whole bit, and, you know, it felt good to be able to see these kids, like Eric said, not playing on a game, but they were actually able to produce quality stuff that we can simply plug and play and be able to use it. And so I thought it was something that this board, it's like 10, 15-minute presentation, and they even talk about how to fund these plaques. You know, they're about $105, $110
$10.
for each
Is this where they've
plaque.
gone around and labeled all the trees? I've seen those
Pardon?
out there.
There's some that have been done by a different group, but these are,
Lanny Rodden
Did those.
did those.
Yeah.
They haven't actually put any of these into place yet. It's
All right.
The only one that's similar to that is the one you guys did for my parents.
Yep. And it would have a QR code on it.
yeah,
Well, the knowledge these kids have in computers and electronics are usually out, they know more than their teacher.
yeah.
I mean, that's how that's all going now. So it's,
Yeah, it was just amazing that, you know, the kids, the teacher gives them an idea, and that's it. These kids run with it, they develop it, they make the presentation, you know, they talk about funding and the whole bit, and it was a highlight of the meeting, so.
you know, my granddaughter took coding class at Southview, which is the kind of the first step towards moving towards all this QR code. She's in there like in third grade doing coding after school
Yeah,
for 15, 20
Yeah.
minutes. So it's,
So if you would like them to come to our February meeting, it'll be on a Thursday. I will ask Caitlin and see if we can get that scheduled, and I know there was a couple of sets of parents here.
Yeah.
Which was nice.
yeah,
Yes, can you get that scheduled? Yeah.
If you want me to,
Yes.
I'll email and get that set up. If we can get it worked out, I'll have them here in February.
That'd be great.
Okay?
and I think it'd be nice to let them know that the board was very appreciative of it, and that's where that came from.
I sent some pictures to Caitlin already, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
We both will actually be out of town
What?
at the Missouri Parks and Rec Conference that week.
Is that when we're gone?
So we'll have to figure something
We'll
out.
work something out. I'll get them somehow, some way where we can get together.
I thought that was it, so I went and looked it up.
Dang it. Okay,
Maybe the March meeting.
Yeah.
yeah. So we
may
just
wanna
need a
cancel.
motion to adjourn.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
Yeah, Eric, I was actually